What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm back with another video. We already had a little incident. So Troy from Brent Tuning was here, and it's like a new feature where you guys see those green lights right here? That means that like now when I'm riding during the daytime like this, I'm not gonna have the headlights on, just the running daylights, which looks a lot cooler and meaner. So just like this pretty much, and when it gets dark it automatically turns on full headlights. They have their tutorial on Brent Tuning's channel. Troy talks about it, so if you guys want to check it out, go ahead and check that out over there. For today's video, we're actually going to be reviewing the beautiful M1000RR. We're starting the review series. We're going to take it for a little ride, tell you a little bit more about it, how I feel about it, and then we go back home, and then we're going to pretty much rate it out of 10 in a bunch of categories and give it like a certain score, and then we're going to do other bikes and kind of they'll all be ranked together, a little bit of everything, even though this is the M1000RR, so more of the race track version from BMW. It's not the S, so it's a bit more racy, or revs up a little faster. Titanium internals. It's actually a different engine. This has the K66 engine, not the K67 engine that is on the S1000RR. So this bike definitely rides different. Is it optimal for the street? No, obviously this is made for the track. You guys know me, I love the special bikes, and since it's a cool limited, crazy track bike, that's why I love this bike and that's why I got it. Of course, this is very, very, very far from stock. About that price of the bike was put back into it. This is about a $40,000 bike, and another pretty much $40,000 is put into it. This is around like $85,000 range with all the parts and upgrades that have been put on it. Titanium, all these blue bolts are all over this bike, are all titanium. You literally find them everywhere. I went kind of crazy with this because that's when I discovered the blue titanium stuff, and they're literally everywhere. Of course, a ton of carbon fiber, everything, and a lot. Massive cylinders, brake levers, all that. In the future, I'll probably do some more videos that are like part breakdown type of things. Of course, there's a lot of work done to the bike itself. This bike has velocity stacks, a full exhaust system, air filter, breather, relocated IT sensor, which you can see actually right here, that little silver thing that's sticking out, that's relocated here. So this bike is stage 3, I believe, according to BT Moto. I also do have an E85 map that is currently not on the bike. I have to switch it because I'm running 91 pump currently, but if I did want to run E85, I have that option. I just have to plug it in the back where this thing flew off, so now it's easy access, but plug it in and pretty much switch the tune to the E85, throw in some E85, well, take out the 91, throw in E85, and it's all good to go. Before we start actually riding the bike, I would like to shout out today's sponsor, Fantic. Me and Fantic have worked together before, and I absolutely love this product. It's an absolute lifesaver. And now, since Black Friday is coming up, since the holidays are coming up, they have their new X9 tire inflator, and I was like, how could you guys even improve this? It was already perfect. I use it all the time, but they did improve it. I love this new thing. That's how you turn it on. It literally just, this is off, this is on. 150 psi, it inflates your tires in seconds, which we are gonna do right now. This thing is very compact, very well made, very light, so like you can literally just put it in the backpack with you and you are solid, and you'll never need tire pressure because it has other attachments for other stuff too if you do need that. It's a type C, so it's compatible with everything as well. Charging wise, this can inflate with a full battery like this one to 7 motorcycles, which is absolutely insane. All you have to do currently is 25 psi, since I haven't ridden the bike as much. Let's go 32 actually, and look at this thing, very, very fast. And it also stops automatically. You're gonna see, because right now it's at 31. As soon as it hits 32, it's gonna stop. You set the psi and it inflates it for you. There you go, done. Exactly at 32, just like we said it. And now I have the correct tire pressure and I can ride safely. If you guys know, you need to check your tire pressure almost every time before you ride. I slack on that a little bit, but when I know my tire is flat, this is all I need. So yeah, we'll put this back in your backpack. Thank you very much. But yeah, make sure you guys, your Fantic X9 this Black Friday, get yourself one in the link down description below. And now back to the video, and let's start riding with my missing tail. All right, let's get going now. Whew. She sounds spicy. So yeah, you see, usually now the bike is completely on, but because the sun is out, my lights are off. This is the daylight running lights. Usually those are on too as soon as the bike comes on, like the engine comes on. Thank you, Troy from BT Moto, and you can see it right here. It gives you that little A, and when it's on, this thing is on. Now you guys are gonna see, I think when it's at night, or if like it's really dark, I can't cover it enough, but this goes away, but this shows it that it's on auto, it's just not currently on. And of course you can turn it on and off if you want to as well. And of course, I gotta tell you this, like right from the start, get it out of the way, is that this bike is extremely nimble. Partially because it comes with carbon fiber wheels. I think actually any BMWs now, you can just upgrade to the carbon wheels. It doesn't have to be a special model, but you know, the M1000 comes directly with carbon fiber wheels, which definitely make a difference. What I love about the BMW too is that, like, for what we're doing right now, I'm seeing those day running lights in the reflection of this car, and they look so pretty. Aesthetic wise, you guys already know this is gonna get a lot of points. But what I love about the riding experience is that it's such an easy bike to ride. Like, every single person that wants a leader bike that doesn't have as much experience, I'm always like, if you want to upgrade, get yourself an S1000RR. Honestly, the S1000 is such bang for the buck. Like the M1000RR, I believe is like an extra 10,000 or something like that, or maybe even more, $10,000-$15,000 for realistically like not much, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to be bougie, if you want to use it for the track and stuff like that, and if you're a really good track rider, then sure, go for it. But in general, if you don't care about like the rarity, exclusivity and all that, the S1000RR will be just fine for you. The best selling point with the BMWs is that they have some of the best technology in the game. It's such a good value with such top tier technology, similar to these other like high brands, you know what I mean? Like other brands are going to be, which we're going to be reviewing, lack a little bit on the technology, but this thing, everything from the traction control to the wheelie control, the dash. I mean, look at this, you have an iPad in front of you. Everything about this bike is just like absolutely beautiful, and it's just like such a joy to ride without having to feel like you have to put too much effort into riding it. It's also a narrow bike, so it's really nice splitting lanes. But yeah, this bike is such a cheat code. Like in a corner, it just feels so like smooth and good. The bike just wants to go. Gives you an extra boost of confidence that you should guys be aware of, because as I said, this is such an easy bike to ride. So sometimes, like when I took this bike to the track, I was going a bit too fast for my skill level in the start, just because I was so excited and the bike revs so fast. So I'm doing speeds like higher than I'm comfortable with, and going into corners a little too aggressively with this bike, and then I have to, like, you know, slow down. Pretty much like I was too abrupt with it because I was kind of like too comfortable, thanks to the bike's electronics and how smooth it is. Listen to this beauty. Also, the new M1000s even have, or S1000 and M1000s have like crazy amounts of even more technology than this one, where they have like a stoppy mode and stuff like that. So if you're doing a stop and it goes too high, it'll catch it for you, just like the wheelie control mode and stuff like that. So these bikes are just absolutely a blast to ride. Honestly, like, I started with this, and I did that to set the bar high, because when you compare to this is such a perfect package when it comes to bikes. I mean, like, what crazy race bike comes with a cruise control button? Look at that. It's just one click and you set it and you're good. I'm on cruise control on a race bike pretty much. Now it's a little bit tricky. I wouldn't recommend doing it on like twisties or anything like that, but the fact that a bike like this has that is out of this world, to be honest. And it's not just cruise control, by the way. This bike also has heated grips. I press at the button, it's at level 3, which will scorch your hands. Press again at 2 and 1 when it's like a bit of a cooler day like this one, and now you have heated grips. And cruise control on super sports, who would have thought? Just vibing, that's the thing. It's such a complete package, like, you know what I mean? A second ago you can be hauling on this thing and just like ripping through everything with technology that you can trust to go fast on, and then after that you can just put it on cruise control with your heated grips and just enjoy and vibe, and nothing is gonna feel off about it. BMW knew what they were doing when they came up with the S1000RRs. I mean, even the old generations had their own lane. They're like, it's a league of their own when they came up with these bikes, and then they made them so much better with the new generations, and it's almost like they keep getting better. How do you keep improving this masterpiece of a bike? Imagine a 220 plus horsepower motorcycle that weighs around 400 pounds revving up to like 5,000 RPM. It just doesn't get that much better than this. Okay, this is a very tight squeeze. Thank you, thank you. If I was riding my H2R V4R, forget about this. I would have not fit through here. These other bikes are wide. I love this and the R1M because those actually can fit through. It doesn't matter what gear I'm in, this bike just rips. Now I will tell you this, the M1000RR will feel more like this than the S1000RR, and that's mainly because of the gearing. The gearing on this is like made specifically for track use, which is why this bike like feels different. Feels like it rests faster. It's crazy. This bike is so light and it wants to come up so easily. And now enough praising the BMW and the M and S1000RR, because each bike has its flaws, even though it's really hard to. I mean, like, look at it, listen to it, feel it. It's hard to not like and love. I would say one thing I don't necessarily love about this bike is the way it felt in the track. My first experience at the track was actually on my R1M, this one, and the S1000RR. They kind of feel a little, I don't know if it's the carbon wheels or something about them, but they're a bit light. When you're braking really hard and you're setting up to go to a corner, or even like mid corner when you're like turning, they just don't feel the heaviest and more stable. It feels good because it's well balanced, but also they feel very light. So I don't know like how to explain it, but they're like light on the wheels, where like you feel a little bit of a wobble. This bike's suspension has been tuned and adjusted by a professional. All these factors were stripped out, which all obviously helped a lot, but it's still, I feel like it doesn't compare to my R1M, for example, or my Fireblade. Those bikes just feel planted when you're trying to like lean turn. They give you that extra like confidence when it comes to that. But this, also giving that it has such good technology, kind of substitutes that. Like, might not give you the most confidence because it's so light, but once you get used to it and you trust the electronics that it has, then you're pretty much good. As you see, like, you can be out ripping on this thing, and the next thing you're just kind of commuting and enjoying yourself. In my opinion, if you could only choose one bike, this is definitely top 3 motorcycles of all time that you can get that just have everything from speed, comfort, technology, just all around complete package for a good deal. Thank you everyone for making such an amazing motorcycle that caters to everyone. They're not like Japanese reliable, they're a little more like maintenance and stuff like that, but they're pretty decently easy to work on. Other thing that is the most common downside that most people would tell you about this bike, and that is the soul of this bike. I feel like each bike has its own characteristics. It's such a like killer machine, but that's at the end of the day, that's what it feels like. It feels like a machine. It's designed to perform, and that's what it does, but it doesn't have like a soul, you know what I mean? It doesn't have a characteristic that is like, oh, you know what I mean, I'm riding like a BMW, this is what a BMW feels like. For me, when somebody like asks me how does BMW feel like, I'm like, it feels like how a bike should ride. It rides good, it rides smooth, it does what you want it to, it reacts how a bike should react. This is just one of these bikes that you get it out of the like showroom floor. You don't really need to do much to it. I would recommend tuning it because that will definitely bring the bike to life. But after that, like, this bike is solid and you don't really need to do anything of it, and you can like track this thing, you can joyride it, you can daily, you can do whatever you want with it. Let's say you got this bike, you're riding it for a while. Over a long period of time, you're not going to get that feeling of like, oh, I really want to get back to it, you know what I mean? I feel like some of the other bikes have more of a characteristic where like they feel so unique, so it always like pulls you back to it. This is the type of bike, this is like the good girlfriend, you know what I mean? Like, this is the keeper, this is the good one that is loyal and will treat you right. Smooth, no issues, you know, comfortable, you're just having a good time. Some of the other bikes, such as the Ducati, my V4R, that's like, you know, the toxic hot girlfriend, where it's like just fun. It's so entertaining and it's so fun. For whatever reason, you keep going back to it. And sorry, my ADHD kicked in because I'm staring at this little plane. She's like PTSD. So that's how I would explain this motorcycle. It does things right, but it's not as exciting as some of the other bikes, and that's its biggest downside about it not being the most stable. That's more for, like, let's say if you're caning carving all the time and stuff like that, you might find this one not as good. But it's also not a negative, because of all the technology, like, balances it out. So it's not really like bad. It's just like, for me personally, I didn't feel that this is as stable as like my Fireblade or my R1M, for example. But also I trust this technology on this bike better than the Fireblade and the R1M, so technically it's the same, it just doesn't give me as good of a feel. And of course we have the fuel gauge, we filled up, it's on full bars. I don't know why all bikes don't just do that. It's such an easy thing to do, but they choose not to, I feel like, because they're race bikes. I'm like, come on, it doesn't hurt. This race bike not only has a fuel gauge, but heat grips and cruise control. And now we'll cut back to the garage and I'll be talking about like the actual build points and where I would rank this out of 10 and all other aspects.
And now it's time to rate the beautiful M1000RR. Everything is going to be rated out of 10 points with a total of 100 points. So this is going to be 10 categories. Starting with style, I gave the M1000RR a 9.5 out of 10. For sound, I gave it an 8 out of 10. Speed, 8.5 out of 10. Tech, 10 out of 10 of course. Handling, it gets a 9 out of 10. How easy to ride this bike? It's a 9.5 out of 10. Comfort, it's an 8 out of 10. Build quality, it's a 9.5 out of 10. Fun and character gets a 7 out of 10. And finally, value is a 9 out of 10, bringing the score of the BMW M1000RR to an 88 out of 100. Pretty good score for a full-on race bike. Let me know what you guys think about the score, and if you would change any of the ratings and why. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and ride safe.